Captain America was right and Iron Man was wrong. As you can see from the title of this video, I am about to be extremely petty. And I don't care because I shed what I shed. If you are a fan of the MCU, then you are definitely familiar with the ongoing tension between Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, and Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. And most likely you have chosen a side, Team Cap or Team Iron Man, that was so infamously coined in 2016's Civil War. Now, you may be asking yourself, why am I talking about this now? Well, I was perusing through Facebook and I came across this screenshot of a tweet from 2018 that resurfaced. Take a look. After I saw this tweet, I became immediately annoyed. And I went on a playful little rant in this nerdy Facebook group that I belong to. And I was going back and forth with some of the members who are definitely Team Iron Man. But I was not going to give up on my reasoning why Captain America was right and Iron Man was not. Ultimately, Tony Stark did redeem himself because he is the one who figured out how to time travel so they can get the Infinity Stones to bring people back. And he was also the one who sacrificed himself to bring everyone back from the snap and to kill Thanos and his entire military force. So yes, in the end, Tony Stark is great, but this ain't about that. We ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about his heroics. We're talking about why he is trash, okay? Because no matter what anyone says, and no matter how charming Robert Downey Jr. makes the character, it doesn't erase the fact that in the MCU and in the comics, Tony Stark is a self-serving asshole. Period, boo. Period. Now let's just call a spade a spade. Many plot points in the MCU are a direct result of Tony's decisions. Number one, he was selling weapons to terrorists, which is the only reason why he created Iron Man. It was all his fault. Remember that guy that he was kidnapped with? That man died. That man died. He gone because of Tony. He created Ultron, which resulted in the death of lots and lots of Sokovians, the decimation of their entire country, and the death of Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch's brother. His support of the Sokovia Accords was not because it was a good idea. It was because he felt guilty after being bombarded by the mother of a woman whose son died in Sokovia. Mind you, in everything that the Avengers have ever done, there have always been casualties. But for some reason, this one was like, we got to be kept in check. No, sir, you feel guilty. Let's circle back and be like, is this really a good idea? Especially because you know firsthand that you can't trust the government. That's why he was trying to find intel when he was on the Shield helicarrier in Avengers 1, and that's why he don't trust General Thunderbolt Ross. I'm just saying, it was because he was guilty, not because he was in his right mind and thought he was making the best decision for the group. Now let's get to what really sparked this video because of this damn tweet. Now I don't know who you are. What's his name? What is it? I forgot the guy's name on the tweet. I have Galaxy, whatever your name is. You really pissed me off. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? Winter Soldier, we thought he was dead. Come to find out he was kidnapped and brainwashed and turned into a weapon. He had no control over what he was doing. Yes, he did kill Tony's parents. That is a fact. He did kill Tony's parents, and Cap knew somehow, which I think is really weak writing. Cause like how did Cap know, and why is that not a more interesting plot point for us to watch to discover that? It was kind of like, you knew, yeah, I knew. I'm like, wait, Cap knew? When? How did this happen? Either way, Cap knew. And so yes, they were wrong on that part. However, Winter Soldier had no control over his actions. He was being controlled by Hydra. Tony, be mad at Hydra, not at Bucky, okay? During the final battle, Bucky was trying to escape. Let's remember that. He wasn't trying to fight. He was trying to escape. And Cap's only intention was to hold Tony back while Bucky escaped. Tony was being the irrational one, trying to kill Bucky. And of course, they couldn't defeat them on their own, so they had to team up. And even in that moment, they weren't trying to kill Tony. They were just trying to subdue him so that he wouldn't go after them anymore. And here's the thing. Cap was trying to get redemption for his best friend, Bucky, who was the only family he has left, who was used and abused by Hydra. Now you would think Tony, someone who was kidnapped and also used and abused by terrorists, would be a little lenient to that fact. I'm not saying he had to forgive him. I'm not saying that he had to make him an Avenger right then and there, but does he really deserve to be killed though? Based off something that he had no control over. I'm just saying. You guys can fault Cap for being on Bucky's side and in that final battle, but Cap was not trying to kill Tony. All he did was take out the arc reactor and made sure that his suit didn't work so that they wouldn't have to worry about trying to get killed by Tony anymore. Just saying. And then in Endgame, this is what really made me mad. In Endgame, when Tony came back from space, he had the nerve to call Captain America a liar. And I was like, what did he lie about? Tony went into space on his own accord. Tony didn't know Spider-Man was there. Tony didn't know if Doctor Strange would be alive long enough to team up with him. And Tony didn't know that he would meet up with the Guardians either. Tony went up there alone, okay? By himself. But when Bruce used the burner phone to call Cap, Cap came. He found Vision and he rallied up the entire team, even the people who stood against him in Civil War. They went to Wakanda and they fought the forces of Thanos and won. Bro, they won. They killed Cull Obsidian. They killed Proxima Midnight. They killed Corvus Glaive. Thor destroyed all of those freaking ships with all those little monsters on them. They won. I mean, they didn't beat Thanos, obviously, but they stood against him. So when he caught Cap, Cap came. Iron Man was the only one that was missing. And Cap still was on the team trying to get Tony to come back to Earth. What? How is he a liar? And in Endgame, Tony was the one who gave up hope, okay? Which I feel brings into question the inconsistency of how his character deals with grief. You know what I mean? One, his parents died decades ago. You know what I mean? And Tony dealt with that grief and he moved on. He dealt with it and he's living a better life decades ago, right? But the snap happens and in Endgame, they go forward in time 5 years. Tony's married, they live at a ranch or in the middle of nowhere. He has a daughter. And when they say, hey, we might have a way to bring people back, he's like, no, I'm content with my life. I've dealt with everything and I'm okay. So 5 years, you're okay with accepting the fact that half of the world is gone. But decades later, when you find out a guy was brainwashed and instructed to kill your parents, it sends you in a fit of rage. That's not consistent with how he deals with grief. To me, you may have a difference of opinion, Team Iron Man, but I don't care. Why? Because I shed what I shed. Now, I do wish that Tony and Steve could have had like a conversation to kind of bring their tension to a close. I mean, it was a lot going on in Infinity War and Endgame, obviously. But I feel like the first hour and a half of Endgame, it was just about the 6 main characters. To me, I feel like they should have brought that to a close. I feel like them just kind of saying, oh, well, we saved the world together. We're back good. We're okay. It's like, no, because at the end of the day, you guys still have some unresolved issues that I feel need to be concluded. So even if they just have a conversation to kind of allude to or to kind of briefly touch on, briefly touch on their differences of opinion, I would have felt better about that. But at the end, it's kind of like, no, they still had issues. I could go on and on, but I'm going to shut my mouth, okay? Because I know these Iron Man fans are upset at what I'm saying, but I am not going to budge. I have time, though. Coronavirus has me in the house. So if you want to argue, we can argue, okay? But I said what I said. Captain America was right for not signing those Sokovia Accords. Tony was wrong, period, point blank. And if my sources are right about the new Black Widow movie and General Ross's involvement, it would further prove that Tony's choices have always been flawed. If you have a difference of opinion, feel free to comment. Feel free to come at me. You can cuss me out. You can do anything you want to do, because I am going to continue to stand by Captain America, who I believe was right all along.